Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has launched his own social media platform. Trump to launch new social media platform, Truth Social. Trump announced a social media platform launch plan. Trump finds backing for his own media venture. So, this is pretty interesting. I would say the following. Well, before I give my analysis and viewpoint, let's go ahead and read CNBC. Trump announces new social media platform launch. Former President Trump is launching his very own social media network in order to stand up to the tyranny of big tech. The app appears to be the first project of the Trump Media and Technology Group, which will list on the NASDAQ through a merger with Digital World Acquisition Group. Okay, the transaction values TMTG at up to $1.7 billion. This is interesting. Okay, former President Trump announced Wednesday he will be launching his very own social media network, including a social media platform called Truth Social, in order to stand up to the tyranny. The new company, which lists Trump's private membership club Mar-a-Lago as its address, will be chaired by the former president, who says this, quote, group's mission is to create a rival to the liberal media consortium. So, we live in a world where the T-Band has a huge presence on Twitter, yet your favorite American president has been silenced. So, this is interesting for a number of reasons. Hit subscribe to this channel. I won't be doing a live stream tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow doing the live streams. I'll try to do a live stream like around 7:30, 8 p.m. Pacific tomorrow evening. This is interesting for a number of reasons. If he can create a viable alternative to Twitter, or if he can create a competitor to Twitter, Facebook I'm not even really concerned about. But Twitter is a dystopian nightmare. It's like Tron, the 80s movie Tron, but this dystopian, nightmarish cyber reality where it's basically a platform where 80 to 90% of the time you're arguing with people over politics or how they're offended about something, how they want to preach and pontificate and give these sermons and judge you and condemn you. These are people who wouldn't say anything to you, obviously, if you were at the supermarket and you passed them with your shopping cart, but suddenly they have all the right in the world to condemn and judge and demean you because of a political stance that, by the way, highlights their inability to engage in any critical thinking at all. The same people condemning you for voting for President Trump voted for Biden, who was part of destroying Libya with President Obama and Clinton, who literally wrote the crime bill. The portion of the crime bill where there's a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity for the same narcotic that his son was accused of using. So we can go on forever. We're heading towards a stock market crash, so hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below. I have a great segment, and I will be doing another segment later this evening, and I'll be doing a bunch of segments in the middle of the night as well, interestingly enough, on the Stock Market Crash channel, because I think for some reason I get more traction or more viewers on the Stock Market Crash channel in the middle of the night from around the world. So hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Hit subscribe also to this channel, and we're almost at 185,000 subs. Let's get to 185,000. Read my latest article in The Federalist. The link is below. It explains why Biden's policies are leading us towards a devastating financial crisis and a stock market crash. I explain in every segment on that channel, and most segments on this channel also, we have an all-time high in margin debt. We have a derivatives nightmare that I talk about in The Federalist. Hundreds of trillions of dollars in derivatives. Hundreds of billions in debt where we don't know how much margin was used or how many billions in loans were given out by banks to enable hedge funds to buy derivatives contracts on margin. Since these companies don't own the underlying stock, they don't have to actually disclose the debt that they have. if they don't own the stock. That's another loophole, many of the loopholes that they get away with. That's why financial regulators didn't know that Archegos, the hedge fund that went bankrupt, would get a $30 billion margin call. In addition to all of that, we have a supply chain nightmare, breakdown, cargo ships outside of ports. It's an absolute catastrophe. Biden's economy is tanking. Check out the segment prior to this one. He's going to be a one-term president. They're not going to roll with him. I'm sure he doesn't even want to run again. Okay, quote unquote. But anyway, hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. That's below in the pinned comment. Read my Federalist article on the upcoming stock market crash. And here are my thoughts. Okay, so 6 minutes in. Here are my thoughts on his new social media platform. He's tried to get on or utilize different social media platforms here and there. He's talked about it. I love President Trump. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a great president. He was a great president. I think that he did a lot for this country. The Doha Agreement alone was a reversal of U.S. foreign policies that failed for 20 years. We had to get out. It was Biden who utilized the T-ban as security outside of the only airport in the country where we funneled 120,000 people into. Those 13 Americans should be alive today. The 169 Afghans should be alive today. The reason they're not is directly because of Biden. Biden utilized the T-ban as security. He gave them the names of Afghans and of Americans. Only a complete imbecile would do that. But Biden and Milley and Blinken and all of them, that's what they did. So the Doha Agreement did not call for any of that. That's just one example of a catastrophe and a failed policies. The economy's in the tank right now. They say that there are people who are optimistic simply because we've allowed the economy to function. The original sin was tanking the U.S. economy, ending all economic activity. Now we're seeing the repercussions of the most apoplectic, hysterical, liberal reaction to a very serious crisis. Liberal and never Trump reaction. So, cancer and heart disease ended the lives of more Americans than you know what. However, we shut down all economic activity, and now we're heading towards a stock market crash under Biden's administration. All of these things are taking place. His poll numbers are tanking Biden. Nobody believes that he's even... do you think he's in charge? Do you think that he even knows what's going on? You'd have to be a complete fool to believe that Biden has any vision or understanding or even wants some kind of outcome. It seems like he's just there just as somebody propped up. We needed a Democrat who's been there a long time. Okay, Biden. Even Democrats don't even believe that he has vision for the future. The issue with President Trump is President Trump doesn't need social media to create. He doesn't need social media to offer the country a different vision of the future. We had record low unemployment with Trump. He needs to focus on his accomplishments. The more he focuses on personality or rhetoric or kind of heated statements, the better it is for Democrats, because Democrats don't have any policies that their voters really want. Do you think that anyone on the left cared about the infrastructure bill? No, that's why they can't even pass it. None of those people cared about the infrastructure bill. These are like vote blue no matter who. They will just mindlessly agree like drones or like robots, like AI robots, with anything they're told. Okay? Not so with Trump supporters. I wouldn't vote for President Trump if he didn't negotiate the Doha Agreement, or was the first president to step foot in North Korea, or presided over the Abraham Accords, or signed an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, or allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. He did those things. He was a good president, very good president. The one thing I caution is he didn't have to. For example, I spoken about this today in the two prior uploads. He didn't have to disparage Colin Powell. Yes, we know that Colin Powell was part of Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld in getting us into never-ending wars. But unlike Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, Colin Powell did amazing things prior to the Bush administration. Okay, he was right there with Schwarzkopf. He did amazing things, and he was a admired statesman. Okay, there's no point in President Trump's statement about Colin Powell. All it does is give Democrats and people on the fence more reason not to vote for Trump. It doesn't work. So if this new social media platform is going to be basically Twitter gave Democrats and media all the political momentum they lacked. When Trump says things to get them like completely apoplectic and riled up, it gives them political momentum. So when we do have a stock market crash, they'll overlook it. There's nothing that they can. You'll never be able to tell a morally superior liberal, hey, look what you did. You voted for Biden. Are you happy? They'll say, yeah, I don't care if the sky's falling and everything's horrible. At least we don't have Trump's personality. So that's all I'm saying. If he just doesn't use it to like insult or kind of communicate grudges, which I'm not even saying that he's warranted in feeling frustrated or scorned, or like the political establishment on left and right went after him. It's true. They set him up and framed him. That's why I do all this work on the Durham probe. Read my writing on the Durham probe and the Federalist as well, and watch my segments. I'll do a live stream on the Durham probe tomorrow. But you have to understand, there's political momentum that he needs to build going into 2024, and we're going to have Trump Republicans in the House. So all he has to do is just ride the wave. He doesn't have to do anything different, and if he does too much on his own, in terms of statements like the Colin Powell statement, it's going to hurt him for 2024. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. It's a good thing, but at the same time, there are pitfalls. Okay? He could be president now if he just didn't use Twitter for the last year of his presidency. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to this channel.